right. Welcome back to Gang War 2. We have some problems with this prison. Don't we always? So I've got the prisoner count up to just under 700. When I started the stream today, like countdown screen, I had almost 800. So since I've started the countdown, I've lost 100 prisoners. And it has to do, and you see 43 already today, and it has to do with a couple of factors. The biggest part of this is drug overdoses. It's not violence, actually, it's drug overdoses. And no matter how many shakedowns I do every day, they just get drugs. They just have them. Because we turned on that mutator that lets them just bring their own shit in all the time, right? They can just do it. So it's not about stopping contraband from entering, they can just have it because that's the mutator we put on, right? So about 70 or so deaths a day on drug addictions. And no matter how many people I bring in, they always have drugs. That's a big problem. I don't know how to solve that problem right now. I can't figure it out because no matter how many shakedowns I do, even if I start a shakedown right now in the middle of the day, or I guess the night because it's the night. Also, here's another problem we get to, right? Let me just go ahead and slow down the time. This is another problem we keep getting into. I'm gonna go to gangs. The gang that's acting up is 228, that's blue. This mechanic is so powerful. So we'll go ahead and forgive his punishment. So there's a couple of problems. So we're gonna see that in the stream. I guarantee it because I can't prevent it. So it's going to happen multiple times this stream. It will happen. So the drug overdoses is a problem. The second problem, and we've known this since season 4. I think before that even I knew this, but season 4 it was very clear that it does not matter who requests or who's acting up. I'm looking at song requests. It doesn't matter who acts up. It doesn't matter what gang acts up. It doesn't matter what gang leader is in trouble. The whole prison will riot. Green gang will riot because blue gang is being punished. Red gang will riot because green gang is being punished. It doesn't have to be their specific gang. So the other problem I'm running into is that when blue gang acts up, which is usually the case. Blue leader is the one that's acting up the most. Red leader sometimes, infrequently compared to blue, but blue is almost always acting up every day. So when blue acts up, we get 200 or 300 people instantly in a riot, and there's not that many in a gang. And if you look at the gangs, if you look at the riots, we'll get guard icons appearing in all 3 buildings right away, right? Doesn't matter what gang is in trouble. He's been forgiven. He's being taken to the med bay. So that's the other problem I'm having. No matter how much he acts up, all gangs act up. I noticed another thing, and I'm gonna turn this down in my ear here, and you're gonna say, turn the music up, and I'm not gonna do it. There's another thing I noticed is like last couple of videos. Speaking quieter now. The last couple of videos. For this series specifically, I'm like, I don't know if anybody noticed this, I'm like yelling. Like I'm yelling into the microphone. I'm speaking very loudly. And it's because of song requests. I hear your music in my ear, and you do the typical headphone thing where you're yelling over the music. So I'm gonna cool it. I'm just gonna try to cool it and not try to yell over the music. Can you turn punishments off through the policy tab? Yeah, I could turn the punishments off, but that turns punishments off for everybody. I actually have a new plan. Rather than turning punishments off for everybody, which is what we'll do eventually, once we have enough prisoners. We don't have nearly enough prisoners yet. We're only at about 1/5 of what I'm looking for, right? So, rather than turning punishments off entirely, I'm actually going to ramp them up. Because if I can keep violent prisoners in solitary longer, then they won't act up as much, right? They will be less likely to act up because they will be in solitary, right? I want to get to the point where I can also look at their reputations, and I can see there's some in here who are, you know, legendaries and things like that, but, you know, this is the gang leader, so I understand him. But there's some in here who are instigators, right? And so the instigators, I want to put on permanent lockdown, right? I want to do that. The problem with that, though, is that when we start the actual gang war, when we start the actual war where the guards get out of the way, I want the instigators to be part of that, right? So I need to find a way to offset the deaths every day. And I can do, like I said, I can do shakedowns all the time. But the chances of finding all the contraband I want to find has been notoriously slim right now. I have had this building off limits to prisoners for about 10 in-game days. Is that accurate? Probably closer to 7 days. But I've had this building off limits to prisoners because I don't want them fighting because I have to raise their population. They're already killing each other enough without me having them fight each other yet. And they're killing each other as in like the gangs are causing their own deaths because none of these gang members can see any other gang member, right? They're all completely segregated in every way aside from periods of time where they might end up in here, right? Now I'm hoping that this all works itself out, right? Because the drug addicts are dying. You don't just magically get new drug addicts. At least, I guess some people can be introduced to drugs, but the game's mechanics do not have a need for drugs for anyone who is not already addicted. So there's no developing addictions. I'm 1 minute from intake. I'm gonna start bringing, I haven't done this yet. This will be the first intake where I have normal. Or medium security. Part of me doesn't want to do this because it makes the prison less violent in the end. Should we bring in normal security just to get the population up faster? I don't know. Or should we stick to our guns and only bring in max? Because there's only 55 max to bring in right now. Picking red to wear, does that mean you picked red, gang? No. I'm picking a shirt today that's consistent with the last stream so that I can seamlessly edit it together. That's the only reason I'm wearing red today. I wore red the other day too. I can't wear green for, I think, obvious reasons. And I usually wear blue, almost always wear blue on stream, so. I could wear black. Black would be a neutral color. I could take this off. I have just a black shirt underneath it. I could wear that. Okay, so we're gonna bring in some normal. It's 155 intake here. The good news is we'll be populating the prison with more people. We get the population up faster, and these guys are less likely to be violent, so we can raise the population faster again. They might still have drug problems, but it is what it is. So, Twitch chat has spoken. We will do the intake for the normal security too. And there it is. Now, the cool thing is, now there's only 7 available. There's only 7 normals available now. So, tomorrow we're only bringing 7. We have 74 intake here, but we're only gonna bring 7 normals now, so. There you go. So we'll have a good intake tomorrow and it'll be mostly max, but in the event that we can't somehow fill, actually, let's do that actually. Let's go with number per day at 100. That's what we'll do. So we'll bring in 100 a day. 100 a day. It will fill it with maximums, right? But any deficit we have with maximums that doesn't get us to 100, it will fill that with as much normals as it can. I think I like that more. There we go. So these buses will come in. Currently, this prison sits at 476 guards and 690 prisoners. That's going to get bumped up now that the intake's going to happen. See, Blue Gang acting up again. Oh, the other problem I'm running into, right? And again, we're doing the same thing where I'm yelling over the music because sometimes this, I don't know what this is too loud. Another problem I'm running into right now is I have super guards, but the super guards are still dying, right? Super guards are still dying. Not always, but a lot of times the deaths I'm getting per day are guards. And it's because I'm also discovering that the deadly trait, that trait that prisoners can have where they're able to kill someone with a single blow. That appears to be a trait that allows them to just, like, actually kill in a single blow regardless of the other person's strength. So super guards will still die in one hit by these deadly guys. The super guards are still dying in one hit. First time you catch a live stream? Welcome, dude. Glad you can make it. Good to see you. 100% chance Charlie won't see this. 100%. 100% XCOM style right there. Swing and a miss. Look at all this blood. Look at this. There's a big trail of blood. Red Gang decided they wanted to paint their hallways red. Jesus. Oh, that's a long autosave right there. That's gonna be a while. That autosave. Oh man. I like to make white floors here. The white floors are nice, and then I really get to see the blood. Not that I like seeing blood, but it's kind of cool to see just how violent a place is. And the white floors really let you see that, you know? You really see the blood. And these lighter colored floors. Look at all of this madness. And this is the kind of thing where, like, these guys are doing it to themselves, right? They're not even in war yet. They're not even battling each other yet. They're just doing this to themselves. And so the dumber they are, the less likely they are to win the war. And Blue Gang so far is the dumbest gang in this entire facility. Probably because of their leader, who is in trouble twice a day. So I'm actually gonna ramp up punishments, I think, a little bit. I'm gonna ramp it up and go destruction, we'll go 3 hours, escape attempts will be 5 hours of lockdown, attack prisoners will be 2 hours for now, attacking staff will get you 4 hours in solitary, serious injury will be 5 hours in solitary, intoxication 3, murder will land you in solitary for 6 hours, finding weapons is 4, find tools is 4, although they're not really doing much for tools, and then solitary drugs will be, finding drugs will go 5 hours in solitary. So we'll ramp these punishments up with the hope that the increased punishment will be a deterrent from acting up right now. Look at all these solitary cells. They're being used quite often too. Like, we're actually getting some decent usage out of them, but look at this, like, it's all one gang right now. It's all 2 gangs. Blue Gang is gonna start funneling in here now. We're gonna start getting these blue guys. Blue is just all injured. They're doing it to themselves, man. They have to get patched up for their wounds, and then they have to get taken to solitary, and then they get to go back to freedom, right? It takes forever. Stop acting up. But they're not going to. They're not going to stop acting up because that's just not in the game's code. So, Green hasn't rioted yet. Oh, yes, you have. Yes, you have. But the difference between Green Gang and the other two is that Green Gang's leader is not volatile. So Green Gang's leader is hardly ever in trouble. And because of that, there's hardly ever any violence with regards to that system. They still do act up, though, when other gang leaders are in trouble. But they just don't do it as often because Green leader is not volatile. To where Red and Blue is. It'd be nice to get this. What I really would like to have this, actually, is to get Blue leader. Like, if I could, I might edit his file. I might actually go and do this. I might take Blue leader and Red leader and edit that character in the save file and remove the volatile trait. That way, this prison can grow and we can actually have the war the way it was intended to be. That is to say, a war where, you know, the generals send their troops out to do things, right? As opposed to just them randomly deciding to destroy their cell, and then the whole place goes up in a riot and we lose 70 people that day. Look at this. It's Christmas. Yeah, computer is having a hard time with pathing too. You can see them, they're kind of like going in circles. They stop and they turn around and they don't really know exactly where they're going half the time. It seems to solve itself if I don't play it at max speed. But when I play at 3 times speed, that's when we start getting these guys like doing this little turnaround stutter thing, like this workman here. He starts doing that. And a lot of people do it, like these 2 workmen are doing it. But if I play it at slower speed, they tend to not do it. So it's gotta be a processing thing. Like, It's got to be a system of their own processing. Because they'll do it at 3 times speed. 2 times speed, it doesn't look like they're doing it though, so maybe we play it 2 times from now on. I still think it's slower though. I think, I don't know. They call me Tim. Thank you very much for the 5 months Prime sub. Very much appreciate that. That's really generous of you. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Chicken Attack for the tier 3 13 months. That time of the month again. Yeah, Chicken, thank you for that tier 3 amazing support from you, dude. I don't understand it, but you are a grade A, high class, top wonderful person in my life. Thank you. Monty TM. Hi everyone, just found your playlist on YouTube and absolutely love them. I'm really happy to watch you on Twitch and be part of this great community. Dude, welcome to Twitch. Thanks for coming out. Hope you enjoy your stay. Hope we see you more often and stuff. Just trying to move my windows around a little bit here. Okay, 1 time speed. So which gang? 254. So the gang that's acting up right now is red. But you'll notice there's a whole lot of violence happening in green, even though red is the one to blame. Even though red is the gang that's in trouble, green is the one acting up. Because this prison, this game, does not care what gang leader it is. It's just going to make people act up randomly. There will be a riot throughout the entire facility regardless. So green acts up because red leader's in trouble. It makes no sense. But that's what's happening. How would they be able to fix the gang leader issues? I don't know, code it to where the reaction from the gang is not as strong. Like the fact that the entire prison goes in and do a huge riot the moment one prisoner gets punished for a thing he legitimately did. That's a bit of a problem. You could just remove that in the code. I imagine a programmer can remove something just as easy as he installs something. Unless there are other systems dependent on it, which there aren't, since that's just a checkbox that you can turn on and off in the menu. So I would imagine you could just make it weaker. Or have a mod that makes it weaker. That might be a thing. But honestly, I can fix it by just taking the volatile trait away from gang leaders. And you could probably do that in the code too. You could say, you know, this type of prisoner, when they bring it in, right, gang leaders, when they are brought into the prison, when they randomly generate in the prison, there are certain traits that gang leaders will not have, and volatile can be one of them. Make them to where they're not volatile, and ta-da, they're much more tame. They don't kick off for no reason anymore. That's what you need. You can't have ticking time bombs for your entire prison able to kick off for no reason at all. You can meet every single one of their needs. They could be the happiest, most cared for person in the entire prison, and they will still kick off for no reason. You can't control that. Only way to do it is to kill them. Agent 48 their ass. Or go into the save file and remove volatile, which I think is probably a thing. Hope PDX fixes that. Yeah, so that's a new development. If you guys didn't hear, there's gonna be some mixed feelings on that. I myself have a little bit of mixed feelings on it, but Paradox Interactive has acquired Prison Architect. This is still an introversion game right now. But it's going to be, you know, it's a Paradox game. It's technically owned by Paradox now. So that happened. I'm not sure what they're going to do with it. I'm not sure if they're going to change it or anything. I'm not sure what they're planning on. I would bet, and again, there's going to be mixed feelings on this. But I would imagine we might see 2 things happen. One, I would imagine we would see some more development on it, and with good complex systems that are a bit more stable and actually work well. Because Paradox, at least in my experience anyway, they tend to have pretty well done games. Optimization issues would be a kind of a cool thing. And mod support won't go anywhere. Paradox games have always had great mod support. But I also anticipate some paid DLC probably will come to Prison Architect. And I'm actually not that, I actually don't care about paid DLC, because you can choose to buy it or not. But it improves, if it improves the game, or if it enhances the game, or changes something about the game and makes it better, I'm all for it. I've always been one of those people who, I don't know, maybe it's maybe it's just a personality trait, or maybe it's the fact that I run my own business and have been my own business for like, 8 years. So maybe it's that. But I am completely fine with developers charging for paid DLC to enhance a game. I've never had a problem with that. I have a bit of a problem when they start doing really minor, really stupid changes to a game that impacts other people's play, like pay to win schemes and MMOs and stuff. I have a problem with that. But for a single player game, if you create content and you think that content is worth additional funds and you want to get additional money for your work that you put into that, I'm okay with them charging money for it. Because it's up to you whether or not you want to buy it. You can speak with your wallet, but they can put a price tag on it, and I'm okay with that. If they want to add something really cool to Prison Architect that Introversion never thought of, and they feel like it's worth 20 bucks, they do that Psych Ward DLC, right? That Psych Ward DLC from consoles. If they want to do that and somehow implement their own version of that into the PC version of the game, willing to pay for KCD expansions or more content for Spider-Man, not willing to pay for a different color umbrella in Fortnite. Exactly. But even though you're not willing to pay for a different color umbrella in Fortnite, I'm okay with a developer trying to sell you that umbrella, putting it on a marketplace and putting a price tag on it. I'm completely fine with that because you don't have to buy it. You don't have to buy it. You could just look at it and go, well, that's stupid, and walk away. But if they stop developing the base game for free and they only introduce DLCs and they're not doing anything to fix the errors in the base game, or they're not maintaining the base game for free, then it starts to get like a more gray area, right? Then it's like, well, and PDX doesn't have that problem. Paradox doesn't have that problem. Even though they have a really big DLC model, they still maintain their games for free. Like, they still maintain the free version of their games and upgrade the free version of their games quite often. Plus, you combine that with great mod support, and you're never not getting something new from their games. Their games have a lot of replay value because of all those factors. Where is Blue Leader? Where is he? I think he's just... You almost got out. He made a run for it, and he almost got out. Wowzers. Okay, I mean, I'm okay with it if you want to get out of here. I'm okay with it. But see, it's this right here. It's the extremely volatile. This is the problem. Remove this trait, and Blue Gang becomes not an issue in this way anymore. Right? Not with this broken mechanic, right? It becomes not an issue anymore. And I'm pretty sure I can remove it. Like, if I go Kohei Pizza Man, if I look up Pizza Man in the save file, let me try this right now. I'm gonna save this. IWASA. Can we do that? Damn it. Iwasa. Can we do that instead? There he is. There's only one instance of it. Good. So Iwasa, we come down here to the reputation. We see it, reputation high, volatile. We just remove this. Come up to reputation, volatile, remove this. Okay, we save this prisoner. Save the save file. Right? And then we go reload it. And this prisoner will no longer have the extremely volatile trait. It should help them in not being a ridiculous burden on my prison twice a day. And then we'll do the same thing to Red Leader, because he has the same thing. We'll find Iwasa here. And we look at his character sheet, and he's no longer extremely volatile. So he should be not a problem as much anymore. That should be a good thing. Then I come over to Red Leader, do the same thing, find him. Corner is here. His name is Corner. I've been seeing him a lot lately. He's extremely volatile. So again, same thing, Alex Corner. Go to the save file, look up Corner, and you can use this as a guide yourself. If you're having this problem with gang leaders, honestly think it's completely fine. I would have no judgment on you at all for removing this trait in a gang leader, because this mechanic is overpowered. It is not balanced. Introversion did a mistake with this. It is not balanced. So I would take this extreme volatility and I would remove it from gang leaders. you can either have it one or two ways, introversion. Honestly, you can have it one or two ways. You can either have the entire prison go up in an uproar when the gang leader acts up or he's being punished for something. You can have them go in an uproar, but if you're gonna do that, you can't have extreme volatility in your gang leaders. Or you can have extreme volatility in your gang leaders, but have this way less powerful when they act up. Like, have it be something where he has to be punished for an extended period of time, or he has to have a certain trait that's overdue. Like, for instance, he is starving. Then the gang leader's gonna get upgraded. So if he's 8 already, he's had plenty of food, he doesn't have a bowel problem, he's got all of his needs met, but he's in solitary for 3 hours, big deal. But if he's been mistreated and he's starving, and he's near death, or he's been injured for 6 hours and he's not being cared for, then have them act up, that'd be fine. I bet that's harder to code, so probably, you know, remove the volatility. Okay, double check, not extremely volatile, and we come over to here where corner is. I forget where corner is. He is over here in the cell somewhere, I thought, right here, yep. Come over to corner, check him, and he is no longer extremely volatile. So the gang leader situation should be taken care of. Let me double check green. He's not acting up nearly as much as the other guys, so I don't think he's extremely volatile, but I want to check him anyway, right here. Yeah, so he's extremely quick, expert fighter, fearless, stoical, tough, strong, not volatile, hence not acting up hardly ever. And now we can actually get to a gang war situation where the generals command their troops, as opposed to the general going in and trying to kill guards and then getting punished for it. That's what I would hope to have happen. So we'll have a shakedown here. And again, we're bringing in prisoners, but I'm hoping that this, taking those two traits away from those two prisoners, results in us having less deaths a day. Aside from the overdoses, which I can't prevent because there's no way to take all the drugs out of the prison, since they get to basically do it whenever they want, overdosed. They get to just magically have any contraband they want in this prison because of our mutators, so. And then we have, oh my god, so many blue people, dude. Like, can we get these guys taken care of? Like, can we get them brought to solitary? I have so many guards. How's my 8700K handling this right now? Just curious. Okay, 32%, not bad. 30% for, actually, it's 100% for a single core. Oh no, so this, Prison Architect, you're a single core game? I thought you were multi-core. Oh, that's a shame. So we are maxing out CPU then. I thought you were a multi-core game. Aw, that's disappointing. PDX, Paradox, get on that too. Make this game a multi-core game and you solve like all the performance issues. I know that's like probably way outside of what you want to invest in an old game, but come on, do it. I'm more okay with the guaranteed cosmetic in Fortnite versus Overwatch loot box. Oh yeah, like the Overwatch loot box, again, it's the same thing where you pay money and you get things in game that can impact your ability to play against other players, right? Any situation in a multiplayer environment where you can pay money and become stronger against your enemies who are also other players, I'm not okay with that. And I won't invest in anything that does that. I'm not gonna promote anything that does that. I'm not gonna promote things like early pre-orders. Like, not that. Like, I know that I need to be as vague as possible, but I know that there's a pre-order, a sale on a game that's coming up that's gonna be on pre-order. And I know that that's gonna happen and when it's gonna happen, and I'm not gonna help promote it. Because I don't want people to get this impression like I want them to go and pre-order a game. I don't want you to do that. I want you to see what it's like and then go into it. I want you to think for yourself and not think because marketing said so. But there are some games where I might pre-order it because I've already played it, because I've already had early access to it. Things like Anthem, we'll see. Things like Satisfactory. I've had a couple of score hours playing around with that. Probably will pre-order that. Probably will have that. Unless I get to just keep my copy, which would be kind of cool actually. I don't know if they'll let me keep it. But stuff like that, right? If I've played it already, then I'll help promote it if I like it. But if it's like, you know, Destiny 3 or something, no. Can you show how many solitary cells you have? Yeah, I just go to rooms and go to solitary. I have 1,217 solitary cells. Why don't I like the Destiny games? Well, I've never played the Destiny games, but I just don't tend to play multiplayer games in general. I have tried a few multiplayer games in the past, and I have liked them because of their collaborative nature. I just never really bothered to get into games like Destiny. First-person shooters, never really bothered to get into it. Tried Division. See what I mean? I can't keep the intake up. Like, I can't keep the intake. I can't intake enough prisoners to offset the deaths every day. There's just too many. According to the statements, they have plans to change in line with quality Prison Architect fans have come to expect. Well, we've come to expect what we have. I don't know, like, when a marketing partner says, in line with what you've come to expect, we expect this. That's what we've come to expect the game as it is. Workmen. Workmen, come install my door. Workmen. Workmen, come install my door, please. Thank you. There. Now, the hope is, we looked at this, actually somebody in YouTube comments did it, but we looked at the weight of like their pathing and how they'll move through the prison. And there's a huge weight on jail doors. Even if there's a servo on it that can open it, there's a huge weight on jail doors. Enough to where prisoners would rather, prisoners and civilians, whatever, would rather walk through like 10 staff doors before they go through one prison, like jail door. So if I make a jail door here, then they're probably actually still gonna go this way. Because there's like one jail door here and then they can get in. No, this should be fine. They should go this way. Through these jail doors and then down through this lockless door and then into the staff door. That's what I want them to do. I don't know if that's the case. We'll see. Do that. Okay, cool. New to Twitch and I love you. Hi, Harry. How are you? Well, if you're new to Twitch, then you're okay by me. Because I want everybody to come to Twitch. It's no secret. Not to say I want you off of YouTube. No, of course not. But I just want people to come and enjoy the splendor and awesomeness that is this network that's grown on me. Green Gang has 315 people now. That's pretty good. Rusty Rails, thank you for that tier 1 sub. What do you know? Thank you, Rusty. I appreciate that support. Thank you so much. For as long as you decide to remain a sub, enjoy ad-free viewing here. No more ads for you. 25 new channel emotes, and you're earning pieces in chat twice as fast. By the way, the commands for Gang War are on. They're on right now. So if you want to, you can get a feel for how that would work in this game, right? You can get a feel for what kinds of things would be allowed, what kinds of things will not be allowed, etc. They're on right now. You can influence it, although I'm not sure what I would do that would affect like fighting, since I don't have the population up to where I want yet. So if you request anything that's going to involve killing people, I probably won't do it. But, you know, feel free to experiment. It'll give you an idea of what kinds of things are allowed later.